Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you find the video useful and helpful in your designing process. Today we're going to try and answer a viewer's question. I had made a video almost a year ago maybe on bezels, right? Everything you want to know about bezels. But it really was not using the dynamic commands for the bezel. It was basically pretty much drawing them out for the most part, I believe. The question was, can we manipulate the inside of it or some other things? Today what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start our settings ribbon and use this video as bezel, but we're going to use the bezel command last. We're going to show how to draw out your own bezels to be able to get some pretty cool looks, and I think that part's very interesting. And then we'll go to the settings bezel, and we will get back to our curves ribbon, and I think our next one is rectangle and polygon, which those will be up very soon. Please, hopefully this will help you and answer your question for the viewer that was out there, and hopefully give some other people some insights on some other things to do. So let's go to gems. And let's get going on this, and let's just pick a gem, and right now I'm going to change it to oval, so we're oval so that we can get a little bit something different going on out here. We'll pick that, and we'll just go to gem offset. Right now, gem offset, I'm not going to do anything right now with the height. I'm just going to go ahead and take that into 2, and then I'll drag the height up to around a -2. So I have a -2, and I'm dragging my Z up pretty close to the top of my table of the stone, but not all the way. You know, it's all personal preference, of course. So I'll go ahead and accept that. I'm going to right click, bring back the gem offset curve, and click on my stone and hit enter again. And this time I'm going to leave it where it's at on my girdle, except I'm going to offset it that -2, right? And then hit enter. I'm going to right click, bring back it again, and then hit my stone and then enter. And then this one I'm going to just pop out a little bit. I want enough metal here to be able to, if I cut my stone seat just a little bit too thick, that I still have plenty of metal to be able to not worry about it popping through the outside, right? So that'll just go ahead and accept that. I have this at about 1 millimeter. It doesn't need to be that much. You could probably take it into like around the, 0.7. I'm just going to leave it at 1 and then go ahead and hit enter. I'm going to right click, bring back again, select it, enter again, and this one I'm going to bring straight down to this will be the bottom of my bezel, and this one I'm going to pop in a little bit and then hit enter. I'm going to right click again, pop that stone and enter, and then I'm going to drag this one down and place it right over the top of that other one that's on the bottom, and this one, I'll just take it out just a smidge. And then hit enter. Okay, so let's take a look at it, what we got going here. Okay, so we got okay, so we have a bezel right here, right? We just don't have any surfaces, right? So what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to go to our surfaces and we're going to go to loft. All right, now we don't want it closed, and there's a reason. If I close it off, the loft option will only give me one option, and I don't want that. I want several different options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this top one here. You can click one and then enter and enter and enter and just do one at a time. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the loft. We'll do multiple, right? So we'll just go back to wire. We have our loft selected, so we're going to go loft. We'll skip this one here. We'll start at the top, go here. Yeah, okay. Here we'll start at the top one. We'll go to the outside. We'll go down to the bottom inside, and then up to here, and then we're just going to hit enter. We're not going to close it, right? And as you can see, we have one area right here that's not selected, so it will not produce any kind of surface in that area, and we're going to hit enter. And let's turn some shading on, and let's turn to green. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I believe normal is the default for loft. So this is what you should see very beginning, which is really cool. You got a little bubble bezel set out there, right? Which is, just a little bit different look than you can probably get from most of them in the, I mean, if you manipulated it into the bezel settings, you could probably get the same look. But right here, we just got it very quickly, right? So normal right there. You could also do loose, which takes the averages, right? And then the only thing you have to do here is make sure that you have have enough rail there that you're not going to have to worry about it cutting into your item or anything. You can also switch it to tight, which gives you a little bit different look than the others, right? Than the normal. You get a little bit more domey type thing there. So you're getting different kinds of looks through each one of these options. The straight section is, of course, the one that you're going to get pretty close to when you do the bezel from the settings menu. And then you could also do uniform, which gives you a little bit different look, a little bit straighter here, a little bit straighter here. It's not, so poofy as the normal, right? So you're getting all different kinds of looks right off the bat. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 5 different options available, right? Which is pretty cool. Now I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at this one right here for right now, and go ahead and hit accept that, right? And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to change to a different layer so that I remember that they're not joined together. And I'm going to do another loft. So I'll go to my loft and I'll just kind of get these to get ready to close off, right? But they won't be closed. Once I close them, I join them all together, make a closed poly surface. I lose all my gem on curve options in my dynamic command. So right now, everything I have out here is alterable. Meaning that if I wanted to come down here and say, oh, I want that a little smaller opening, I can just select that curve. I can come over here to my edit and I can just bump it in and then hit enter and it automatically updates, right? Which is really cool because you can make all kinds of different design shapes very quickly doing stuff like this. So I'm going to go back here, 2 of those, so it's back to normal. I can also grab my stone, go over here to gem edit, go to oval and say, well, I want a cabochon, okay, and then hit enter and it updates to my cabochon. And I can select my gem, go over here, edit, do a cushion. That's a cushion. Let's do a marquee, and then hit enter and it updates. So I can update it into any different shape, right? And then still go back in and manipulate any one of those curves in there and everything will update. That's pretty wild. And so everything will update no matter what stone I take or choose for the most part. I think most of them will edit. You can edit out radiant, enter. Yeah, that one's not updating. So let's back out of that. Let's do a radiant from here. Go in here. Where's the radiant? Enter. Yeah, because it's some kind of a different sweep going on there. Maybe there might be a couple that you won't be able to manipulate, but for the majority, most of them you will be able to. Parachute. Enter. Yeah, parachute will work. There's quite a few that you can do, and again, manipulation on any of the curves is a go. You can manipulate all the curves. All right. Now there is one thing with this shape here, it's a poly surface. It's not a NURB surface, right? Because we have straight edges going around, right? So let's take this stone and let's go back to the oval just to keep it on the same as everything. And then we'll hit enter. Okay, so we're back to our oval. Now, say I got everything, right? Once I join them together, I break everything. But let's go so let's go ahead and just select this, select that, and let's go ahead and hit join, right? See there, now we broke history. So if I go back in here and grab any of those curves, I still have my parametric command or dynamic command, but if I move it and hit enter, nothing happens. So that's, did I switch those around? Is this supposed to be over here? Uh-oh, I did something. Let's go back, let's go here, and so I can get my everything that reset to default. It got rid of my one, but I got it back. Yeah, okay. All right, sorry. uh, so we have this out here, and now we have a closed poly surface, right? Let's go to here, let's go to view, let's go to properties, and we have a closed poly surface, but we lost our history, right? But there's still other things we can do. We already have this out there. Actually, let me go back again. Let's just go ahead and get rid of all that green. Let's go ahead and redo this, except we're going to pick them a little bit differently this time. So let's go to our surface. Let's go to loft. And this time, let's go from, let's see. Let's go from this outside here to this top one, to the bottom one, to the bottom one, to this one here, and then hit enter. So now we're not going to get this outside shape, and there's a reason for that. And we'll go ahead and hit enter, and we'll change that to this. And now we have all our options again. We could go to the poofy type style. We can change these around any style we want. I'm just going to go ahead and change it to straight like we did last time, and then hit enter. So now I'm back to having all the options available for it to update, right? So yeah, now I did mess that up earlier. Okay, so now we have all our options available, but we don't have our outside there, right? Which is fine, because what we can do is grab a curve, grab a line, and with our quad snaps on, I'll take yellow snaps and quad, and we'll go in here and draw a quad here and to the quad to quad, right? And now we'll take that quad. We'll go to point objects here. Let's bring it out more. Point objects, and I'll go down to the very bottom. Divide curve by number of segments, and I'll hit 4 here, and now I have 4 little dots out there, right? Now I can go to circle, or any other command, whatever shape. I can snap to that point with my point snaps on, snap to that point. I can re-click, bring it back, and snap there. And then I can select all those, and I can do a little trim action. Get rid of this, get rid of this, this, and this, and then hit enter. Broke history. Shouldn't have broke history on those other curves, though. Let's make sure. Yeah. Got that, and if I drag it up a little, enter, yeah, it didn't. Most of those curves will not broke history, so I can take that and I can go to cleanup, right? And they're not joined, so you want to use the first one, the ones that aren't joined. We can hit here, and then it gives us a little shape there, and now we can go back to surface, and we can do a parametric sweep 2 from this surface here, or this curve here, to this curve and this curve, and hit enter. And now we get something different, and hit enter. And you can always go in and turn on those points and do even more manipulation if you wanted to, or whatever. So really cool options. And you still have, you won't have, this curve will not update with this curve here. It will not stick to there, even though I have record history on. So if I select, if I select this curve here, I get the curve option here, but if I move it and hit enter, it will not follow this curve here, right? So just be aware of that. All right. But you have, any other curve in there, you still have dynamic and parametric control over, see? So don't worry about that. And again, if you do your gem, maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, you'll have to redo that sweep right here. So redo the sweep on that curve there. Hit enter. it goes to that shape, but it doesn't lock it to that point. So you can actually just select that point, and with your snaps on, it locks it up, and then you have to do it to your bottom there. Make sure all three arrows are lit up, and then snap it over to your mid or quad, and then it'll lock it back up, and then hit enter. And then select all your green, and then once you join it together, you blow history, so all that's no good, but you have your closed surface. All right, so that's there you go. That's just a different way to make bezels and be able to make different kinds of shapes, designs, and you can do all kinds of really cool things with that. So let's go ahead and let's get rid of all this. Let's keep our stone. And we'll get rid of all that. And let's keep our stone. So now we'll just go ahead and use this video as our settings ribbon bezel video. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take that gem and put a bezel on it, right? I'm going to go ahead and select, well, back out. Let's do the oval, just easiest. Cushion, oval. So we have our oval, hit enter. Now we'll go ahead and put a bezel on it, and all our handles come up, right? So the first one you probably should be aware of is chamfer, right? You can toggle that on, which is I think new to 3.4, I believe, or 3.3. I'm not sure which one. I forget. But you can turn it on and off, right? So you can get it different shapes there. You can also control how thick that is, and you can get rid of that dome shape, and then you have even a little bit more where you can get into the thickness there on that chamfer, however thick or thin you want it, right? You can also, let's go straight down from here, profile. Okay, so profile, you can still select lots of different profiles, right? And get all kinds of different shapes out there. So you can add more profiles in, you can do all kinds of, you can go in here to your bezel editor, which I love this part of the MatrixGold, is I can go in here and I can say, okay, I want that one right there, and I want to bump him out like that, and I can see everything as I'm doing it, which I think is really pretty cool. Updated, so I can get some really cool, crazy shapes going on with just moving things around in here, which is really cool. I love this part of it. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep on. I'll just back out of that. Let's go back to our profile library. Let's grab something like this. Let's slap that on there. Okay, so it gives us a little bit of look. But anyway, let's keep moving on. Chamfer toggle, chamfer X, that would be this one here, how thick or thin it is, right? Chamfer Z, which is how much of an angle, I guess you could say, you want on it, right? How you want it real sharp, you want it real thin. Chamfer Z, girdle offset. I wouldn't really, unless you're trying to do something special or something, I wouldn't mess with the girdle offset too much. That's this one here, and you can, you know, it changes everything, right? So I wouldn't mess around with that too much. Unless you're trying to do something special or unique. Girdle offset, position. Now you can also use your commands over here, of course, and sometimes actually if you have a lot of stuff out there, using the handles over here is a little bit quicker at times, or position here, right? So you can use either one. Angle. Angle's down here at the bottom, so angle of your bezel, what kind of shape you want it, right? And if you want it more than 30 angle, you know, you just come over here to angle. You can type in, 60. Yeah, cool. Okay, but you know those options are available, so you should know. You can type anything over here, and it should be able to populate here, unless it's just totally crazy, which is just kind of crazy, but it does give you that option. And if you try to manipulate that angle, it'll snap it right back to the max that it will allow you inside with the options, right? Okay, so angle, height, how deep you want the bezel to go, how shallow, right? Top thickness, and then you can readjust those angles and stuff. So you got all those options available. Top thickness right here. Bottom thickness, that's down here. How thick you want it underneath, or how thin, so you have all those options available. And that's the depth as well, right? Bottom thickness, a seat angle. So this one, let's go to our wireframe. Seat angle would be this one here. And as you can see, you can manipulate it to the angle of the stone. So if you don't want such a strong angle, you don't want your jeweler to be, if something like this, you don't want your jeweler having to go in there and cut all that out or as much of it out. You can make it a little easier for them. And you can also adjust how much the seat length is, where you want it to sit and how deep you want it. So different stones will require different kind of manipulations, of course. And let's see, seat angle, seat height, that's this one, seat angle, and seat length, yeah. And what's our last one? Dome. Yeah. So that and also the last thing, I guess, before we go ahead and cut out of this video, I'll go ahead and change this. You do have some, in your 3 dots here, you do have some items here that you can change in your styles library, or if you make a certain bezel that you really like, you can add it to your library. And just, or you can choose from any of these in here, right? So that's also another option. You just click here, say this is one I want. You just go in here and then click save as default, clear default, hide. Yeah. I've been reading on the forums, people who have been saving as default certain styles have been having issues with certain things when they go back and try to do other things in the bezel command. So if you do have a issue with trying to get your bezel command to work or something's not acting up, make sure your defaults are, clear your default style. Just go ahead and clear it and then retry your bezel, and you might find that will take care of any issues that might happen. I've been reading on some forums that when people have been setting defaults, they've had some kind of issues with the bezel redoing other bezels, so be cautious about that. And I think that's good. All right, and I think this will close out the video. And again, the same thing with doing it with gem offset curves. Once you accept the command, that's my bezel I want, you can go back in, grab your stone, and this one you are able to change it to anything, and it will totally update for any stone. So that's a half moon. Yeah, cool. You can manipulate this one in any way. Using the offset, there might be a few that you will not be able to manipulate, but using the bezel command you can, but you do have other options available by drawing it out yourself. So hopefully the video helps. If it does, please like, subscribe, share the video, and leave a comment. And thanks for watching. Good designing.